my team ain't taking no L's. I told him you don't wanna play us. We going out town with a flight in the morning. Said fuck it, I'm just gonna stay up, yeah. Oh, I seen it all, you avert.
Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another weekly chart breakdown. As always, we'll start off on gold on the weekly time frame, and as you guys can see, this last week we hit all-time highs on gold. So this is the highest the price has ever gotten to, right? So when we're looking at that, obviously we should be mainly focused on taking buys just because the overall trend is clearly bullish. So now coming down into the daily time frame, we see that price has created a new higher high, and what we could wait for now is basically for price to pull back a little to create a higher low so we can see a continuation to the upside. Now when trading all-time highs, obviously you got to be very careful just because price at this point could reverse drastically anytime, right? It could just start dropping all the way back down, or it could just continue flying to the upside without creating like new market structure. So in order for us to take advantage of a buy position, we want to wait for, let's go to the 1 hour time frame for example. We want to wait for price to pull back into our previous market structure points where we would have one here at the 24.94 range where we had some form of a resistance. Price pulled back into support, broke this resistance and created a new higher high. So we could wait for price to pull back into this range, and if it starts to reject, we could take buys back up into the highs before price started the pullback. And if price starts breaking this area as well, then we can wait for price to pull back into this next support where we saw a rejection here as well. And if that breaks as well, then our next zone of interest for buys will be this daily level down here. Now, since this is the daily level, this is the higher probability trade that you could take, right? So based off the 24.73, this will be the high probability buys that we could take back up into these highs, or maybe all the way back up into the high of gold. Now, when would I be looking to take sales? I will only be looking to take sales if we start breaking back under the daily support and resistance range, and we start closing below and forming bearish market structure along the way. Now here I would like to wait for a closure below on the 4 hour or 1 hour time frame, wait for a pullback, wait for some type of market shift and market structure shift so we can take sales back down into this 4 hour range. But this will be a low probability trade, and just because the overall trend is obviously bullish, so we want to make sure we mainly only look to take buys. And now the areas to look to take buys are, like mentioned before, the support range here, this one here, and this one here. Now when we're also looking at the EMA, we want to kind of like the EMA to push price a little higher and then for it to kind of scoop price. So let's say that we see price coming all the way back down, and we see that it also starts to reject the 50 EMA. Here's where we would have a nice possibility to take buys back to the upside with all of this confluences working together. So yeah guys, overall on gold, I'm very much bullish. No need to look for counter trend trades like from this point to this point. Obviously you could do that, yes, especially if you're a scalper. You could also take advantage of a counter trend trade, but just know that the higher probabilities following and coming into this week will be with buys. So that's that. So now let's hop on over to NAS100. Okay, so now looking at NAS here, also on the weekly time frame, we see that we are still in a bullish trend. We created a higher high, higher low, higher high, and a new higher low, and are currently pushing all the way back up. So this upfollowing week, we might see an all-time high on NAS as well, just because on the higher time frames, we are still in a bullish trend. So when we go down into the daily time frame, we see that price is currently at our major resistance area on the daily, right? We see that every time when price was above this range, it pushed up to the upside. It was above, it pushed up a little, and then we broke this support range down here, and every time it was below, we saw the bearish impulse to the downside, such as here, right? So as of right now, price is clearly still at that range. It hasn't closed strongly above yet, right? So as long as it maintains below, obviously you could definitely also be looking to take sales back down into this range before then seeing a continuation and a break and retest to the upside. But just know that on NAS, the probabilities will still be with buys, just because in the high time frames, we are still bullish. So what we want to wait for, basically, if we scale down into the 4 hour time frame, is just for a nice break of structure on the daily time frame. So we want to wait for at least the 4 hour candle to close above this range here. Then we want to wait for that pullback. We want to see if price can hold as a support, and then we want to see that push to the upside, right? Any other area to be looking to take buys will be down here at the 19,196 range. Now once price reaches down here, we might also see the EMA kind of coming up and scooping it as well. So we can see that rejection based off the support range, and then take buys back up into this resistance here, or maybe even a break and retest for continuation to the upside. Where would I be looking to take sales? Now, obviously, where price is at right now, we could definitely also see a bearish impulse back down into the 19196 range. So if you want to take short-term sales, you could definitely take them from this resistance back down into this support. If we now see price breaking, closing under, pulling back for a pullback and rejecting, you could also take sales back down into this next daily zone at the 18901 range. But this with medium probability, you know, just keeping in mind that the weekly time frame is still bullish, so we always want to focus on the higher time frames. So yeah guys, that's basically it with today's weekly chart breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.